My
So
guy, you already
back,
know.
back.
Let's get it. Episode 5. Let's get right into it. Soulbirds, you
Mhm.
already know. So I want to start with the question.
Mm.
Um, what to you is the definition of apocalypse?
Ooh. Now, to me, I think the first thing I hear apocalypse, right? End of the world, volcanoes going off, hurricanes, might be alien invasion, you know what I'm saying? Just outright madness. That's the first thing I think. Death, famine, all that type of stuff, whether it's naturally caused, man-made, but like pretty much like we everybody, a good amount of people checking out at the same time. Like that's where when I hear apocalypse, that's what kind of first thing that pops up in my mind.
That makes sense. And I could say I would agree until I learned that, well,
Mm.
actually the Greek definition, which is the where the word apocalypse come from, it actually just means the thinning of the veil.
Wow.
That's what the definition means. And so what does that make you think? Say, what comes to you from that?
Well, that's a big switch from, all the things that whether it's just through our knowledge or through Hollywood, what we think about apocalypse, like it makes it seem like one event instead of, a lifting or a thinning of the veil or something that's like more kind of gradual and doesn't mean, hey, right away, this is going to happen. It's just stuff is going to change. People are going to see things differently. And the world's kind of going to be exposed to what it actually is or what it has been. Yeah.
Yeah, bro. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I think I said I had the same reaction when I heard that. And I bring this up, or we decided to talk about this because I think in the first or second episode, you mentioned that right now you believe or you have learned that
Mhm.
we're going through a thinning of the veil.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
when you said that, I was like, yo, bro, like I agree. And I think that will be a great episode for us to
Yeah.
discuss this deeper. And I was
Mhm.
I was excited about it because through my studies and my research, this is a
Mhm.
topic that has definitely come up a lot. And so I started, I used to, not I used to, I still like write things here and there, little musings or put information together. So I started looking
Mhm.
through my drive, and there's actually like a whole, I want to call it an essay that I
Yeah.
wrote. And
Word.
so I want to just like read the whole thing for real. Just go.
Get into
I'm about to snap a little bit. Um,
it.
I want
Move back. Move back. Give me space.
to I want to preface that
Mhm.
some of this is what's the word? Oh, plagiarized, straight up, where it's like copy and
Yeah.
paste from different sources.
Mhm.
And these are sources. These are like, I'm talking about historians. I'm talking
Mhm.
about information from the Mayans, from the Aborigines, from Hindu. Talking about prophets. Like I kind of just like took information from a lot of places, and like I said, some of it is just straight boom, copy and pasted. So I can't take credit for all of this, but it's also like intertwined with my own thoughts and feelings.
Indeed.
And boom, boom, boom. So had to say
Huh.
that. So yeah,
That's
let's
fun.
I'm about to go in a little bit and then we can talk about it.
Yeah.
All right. So what I'm saying is motivated by a deep love for the planet Earth, all humanity, and all existence in the universe. There's
Mhm.
a deep and radical change occurring on Earth on multiple scales. And I'd like to explain to you what I've learned about the human condition. So currently, we're undergoing a spiritual transformation. And you can probably feel that we're on the cusp of something unprecedented.
Oh yeah.
The shift is in consciousness,
Yeah.
which is producing a variety of instability, uncertainty, and the heart of humanity is in deep distress. And the time for change is now. It's now. uh, you know, People all over the world are observing these rapid changes in our environment, in our society, and worried about these how unpredictable our world has become. And we have been conditioned to hide our fears, to ignore our darkest thoughts and our feelings, and these unaddressed emotions, they start to bubble up until we
Mhm.
can't hold it in anymore, and our trauma and our wounds, they pour out in the form of anxiety, pain, violence, suffering. This is happening on a grand scale, on a macrocosm and a microcosm. and humanity is asleep to our true nature. We're disconnected from our spirit, and we've allowed our ego, fear, our carnal desires to run rampant, which is bringing pain, confusion, turmoil, and man, we're just out of harmony with Mother Earth, right?
Yeah.
And each other, with everything. So all life manifests from spiritual heritage. Your physical reality stems from your spiritual reality. Right now, we're not in tune with the spiritual reality, and we are in the process of moving our focus from our physical external reality to our spiritual internal reality. And this transition has been prophesied by numerous ancient civilizations, including Hindus, Buddhists, Mayans, etc., right?
Mm-hmm.
So if we understand that these growing pains are all a part of a spiritual awakening, we start to become empowered, and we can develop deeper connections with ourselves, others, the universe. And, a lot of people are resistant to the shift because it takes deep internal change in a person's thoughts, emotions, actions. It's hard work.
Yeah.
But, and I can, I feel this in myself a million times over. But nonetheless, the paradigm shift is happening, and it will continue to happen whether we want to change or not. And so the window for spiritual transformation is wide open. The human consciousness, we're awakening to our true essence, and this is a great opportunity, right? For the past 2,000 years, we've been living in the age of deception, and we are exiting that age, and we're now in the transition period that will lead to the golden age. And what is happening is called the unveiling, or the thinning of the veil, right?
Yeah.
All the deception, the illusion, the lies, they're starting to reveal themselves to be one big fraud right in front of our faces. It's just right out here now. And if you look around with some critical eyes, what do you see? You see a propaganda machine constantly working to keep people distracted, demoralized, docile, and confused. People are bombarded with information to keep us preoccupied with unnatural, oppressive, hierarchical systems of control that have no interest in helping you or I reach our full potential. And the system, it wants you to expand all of your energy into a job or way of living that aims to leave you depleted, defeated, and lonely. And we're realizing on a massive scale that society's values are empty promises. Following the path that has been given to us, school, debt, job, house, car, debt, die, it's not what life is about. We, as people, we want to explore our creativity, our divine purpose, but instead we're collectively suffering in a parasitic matrix. And, it's painful to learn that you've been lied to, or becoming rich with a big house and a nice car and an attractive spouse. It's not going to bring you happiness. The truth is that you must go deep inside yourself. And I just listened to Kendrick's album, his new John, that hits the nail on the head with that one. But
sure.
Which is another thing we could talk about, because that's my shit. But the deeper we go, the more the pain and the confusion, once we work through it, starts to recede. And you or I start to realize that what's happening out there, it's a lot of distractions. Mostly like the peace, love, light, it's within us. We have to tap into that so that we can share and be a conduit, shall we say. So, and it takes a lot of dedication to access it, right? It's not an easy journey. We both could attest to this. It's, for me, it's agonizing. It's difficult. There's so much pain. But like once you start to intuitively understand that you're an infinite and that we're all deeply connected, multidimensional beings, it's like, whoa. And then, once you start to try to face your fears instead of suppressing them and hiding them, and you address them and you walk up to them, and it's like, it's just, you start to feel more empowered. And so this is an invitation for you and anyone viewing to explore your inner divinity. We would love to help, which is why we're doing this, having these conversations, trying to open it for like normal people in Philly and all over to start talking about this, because like, okay, the values that capitalism has told us to place our faith in, they're crumbling for everyone to see. And it's becoming more and more clear to people all over the world that there's something wrong. We got to change the way we're living. Because like, who really trusts the government or the institutions that are supposed to serve us? Like, nobody, really. And, Yeah, I mean, for most people, let's not say nobody, but
Right.
obviously this is a very difficult process as it's been prophesied to be. But all the fake and the selfish is being revealed, and that goes for governments, corporations, economy, our education system, even
Yeah.
individuals and our personal relationships. And the Catholic Church calls this the apocalypse,
Mhm.
but the indigenous Hopi call it the Great Purification.
Wow.
And like we said, the real definition of apocalypse is actually just thinning of the veil. And it's exactly what it is. It's the great purification. It's the thinning of the veil. We're purifying ourselves of our toxic habits and our poisoning programming and all of our old ideologies and paradigms that are out of touch and they don't serve humanity's needs. They're getting pushed to the wayside. And the people who benefit off those, they're scratching and clawing to keep it going. And so I conclude with the fact that I've been told that Earth is a schoolhouse.
Mm.
And right now, it's time that we're taking our test, right?
Yeah.
And it starts with you, starts with me, starts with the individual, and you have to try and use your will to find your deeper purpose and unlock the supreme being within. And because the chances are, deep inside, you want a more fulfilling life and a stronger
Mhm.
connection to love in all of its miraculous forms. And so we're all being asked to make a choice. You can try and hold on to the outdated and dying values of the past. You can chase clout, get your followers up, get rich, or be worshipped or be entertained. Or you can try and focus on these new budding values of equality, harmony, virtue, righteousness, understanding. And so let me ask you a question, Joe.
All right. What's up?
Can you feel it? Can you feel that there's a major shift in our values and in our thinking?
Absolutely. Absolutely. And this it's weird because in our personal lives, right, we go through our transitions and we go through our growth. So like you said, it's things that we come to learn. And it's funny we had this conversation, and as I kind of like thought about leading up to it, I was trying to differentiate like what's what can we contribute to the veil being lifted, and what can we contribute to just us gaining more information, right? So as we gain more information, whether it's about history, whether it's about how some of these systems actually work, that changes our perception. So whereas we may have been, shrouded from the truth or shrouded from what's actually going on, right? That's some of it can be just a limitation of knowledge and understanding. But I think it goes further than that. I think globally, like you said, and with the help of technology and just information going out more and more, right? Collectively, consciously, we're all rising. We're all rising, and it could be felt. It could be felt. I'll give you a very direct example. Um, Election time. What was it? Whenever they put our boy Joe Biden out in the White House, I'll be heading into the city to go to work, right? And like I don't know if this feels crazy. Maybe somebody else out there can relate, but Northeast Philly, I'm driving down 95, and as I'm driving, I'm looking at the sky, I'm looking at the city. It's literally like a crowd of anxiety, a cloud just hanging over. Right.
Mm.
And you get in the city and you start talking and interacting people, and everybody has this kind of like, right. And now we all got things going on in our day to day that may contribute to that. But between like the how can I say it? Between the fear and worry that's being instigated by some of these systems and outlets to keep us in a particular lane or a particular frequency vibration where we can't, like you ran off a list of virtues and things where it's like that's our home, right? This inside out, that's where we need to be sticking to. And now we have a lot of external factors that just want to distract you from worrying about that. So instead of peace, instead of a family at home, they like, you don't need peace. You need to go get a piece, right? Go see Jacob, right?
uh,
You don't need a family, like you need go to the club, get you 10 joints, whatever. So I think a lot of that is going on, but I think we can all feel it. We can feel that something just doesn't seem right. We all have been bamboozled for a long time. So we look up and find ourselves in paths and things that at the outset, whereas this is what you need to do, like you said, capitalist education, this is what you need to do to get ahead. And not only do you look at where you are, you look at the people that have gone before you, people at your job who they might have had a 30-year head start on you, but you're looking at them, they're not rich. They played the rules the way they said. Went to school, they locked in with the job, all this stuff. They played it, but they're not satisfied, right? They don't feel whole because it's a rat race. We're just running and running. So to answer your question, I feel it. And I think we all feel it, whether or not we can verbalize it or not.
Well, that was a great answer. I feel it as well, and I have been for a while. And I just want to finish with so the Hopi, they say that it is currently the toughest time to live on Earth, but it is also the greatest time to live on Earth because it is the best time for spiritual practice or for spiritual awakening on an individual basis and on a collective basis. And from a human ego perspective, it's scary, it's confusing, but from a more spiritually mature perspective, it's exciting, invigorating, and humbling. And really, we're being given the opportunity to tap into the collective consciousness. And this is a great opportunity for growth. And it's up to us, each individual, if we're like whatever that looks like. And it takes a lot of sacrifice, it takes a lot of hard work, it takes so much. But I really think that that's the test that has been described, is that this is a soul journey. We're here for a specific purpose to gain these lessons. And without pain and struggle and tribulation, you're not really going to learn too much. If you just sitting in the palace getting grapes fed to you, it's like that maybe that can go on in the fifth or the sixth dimension. But where we're at, we gotta go through the mud. We gotta get out the mud. And
I have a question I want to throw your way, and this is something that maybe we could bring the conversation to like a practical application spot for ourselves, each other, and anybody that may be listening. So we touched on different areas and different things that are changing. Where do you think, or what do you think is important for us to put our focus on in terms of, letting those old ways go, right, and trying to transition into something new? You mentioned spirituality, but I feel like there's some other lanes. So, what do you think is important for us that's just starting out, that's feeling it, that's like, okay, something's got to give? Where do you think is some practical stepping stones just to kind of get oriented?
Oh, that's a good question. And that could be something that, if we kind of do some research and look into and answer. But off the top, I would say first, you got to go within. You know what I mean? And that, to me, that looks like trying to consciously understand yourself and heal yourself. Because for me, I know that I've developed a coping mechanism where I've learned how to push all negative emotions out.
Yeah.
And in turn, that has led me to push all of my emotions out.
Yeah.
And I've been told that emotions are really superpowers. Those that can feel what they actually feel and be like, yo, I'm angry, and just be angry, but not hold on to that anger and have it build up and become some sort of disease, but to be able to feel it, process why I'm angry, let it kind of go through you, and then let it out, and then try to understand why am I angry? I'm angry because of this, and this. Okay, how can I go about trying to change that to make my life better, to make life better? And I think a lot of ways it's really, really hard to, to be there for yourself if every day you're depressed or you're
Yeah.
angry or you're just full of hate. That's for me, that's what the system kind of feeds us, because that keeps you stuck.
Yeah.
And I can attest to that. For so long I just had so much fear, and I still, it's not like I'm cured of that shit
Right.
in any means,
Right.
but because I've had fear and I still have trauma that's unprocessed,
Mm.
it's hard for me to figure out even how to move or to how to interact with the people in my life in a healthy way, so that there can even be some sort of like positive give and take.
Yeah.
Where if I'm depressed, my energy's already fucked up, so everything that I'm giving in the world is fucked up. I'm
Yeah.
talking to my mom and something goes out left, talking to my girl and something goes out left. And so for me, that's the first step, is to
Yeah.
try to heal yourself. And once and there's so many resources, there's internet, there's trauma healing, there's I can't say it right, whatever. It's a type of therapy. um
Yeah.
there's so many resources
Mhm.
that we can access. And oh boy, yeah, I think that's what I was gonna say, is after once you kind of start putting into your consciousness
Mhm.
that where I'm at right now, I'm not totally fulfilled,
Yeah.
and there is things that I can do that can make me happier, that can heal me. Right? First of all, you have to identify it.
Yeah.
That's the first.
Yeah.
And then once you start to identify the problems, and then it goes through the whole process of figuring out what the fuck to do about it.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I know in my experience, it's been a journey. Like I said, it's been agonizing, but like every insight or every
Mm.
little node and step on the way has helped me feel better about myself, and then be more empowered and encouraged to try to have these conversations and help other people.
Yeah.
Or just like the word embodiment just came to my head.
Mm.
Like a lot like a lot of people say is like you can't really change anybody's mind with words, but your actions are
Yeah.
the most powerful thing. So if you want to like help other people or help the world move to a better place, what did Michael Jackson say? Starts with the man in the mirror.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because when you're working on yourself and you're doing better, your energy's affecting your girlfriend. Your
Mm.
energy's affecting your family. You're like, damn, look at Joe Jeff did. Damn, maybe I could see what's up with
Yeah.
getting my shit together. So I think that's the first step. Like I said, maybe we do a little bit of research and think
Mhm.
about that. That's a great question, by the way.
Thank you. Thank
Um,
you. Yeah.
but yeah, off the top, that's what I'm working with.
I think
Um,
to your point, that's the most important route. Like you said, we're not able to like list it out, step by step. Here's how you. But I think a lot of times us being caught up and things being the way they are, right? And we want to jump into change, right? We're seeing the generation that's probably more what's the word I'm looking for? They're ready for action, right? They're gonna speak
mm,
out, they're ready for action. But what I also see is a lot of times is, are people just yelling in the wind tunnel, whether it's Twitter or something, that we need to get this president, we need to do this, we need to do that. And it's like we're looking at all the big macro, we're looking at the top, what can be done at the top. And to our point, this stuff has been like put into play for years, right? They've been working their system forever, and we're all shouting at the top, and it's like, all right, let's try to come a different way. And to your point, something that I believe you can identify with, and then something that I identify with along in my journey is that when you start that work and when you start um, identifying, acknowledging it within yourself, then you begin to start, right? The more comes to you, right? the more you step out and say, all right, I know this is going on. These are feelings I'm experiencing. It's not me. It's just something I'm experiencing. There's nothing wrong with me, whether it's external factors or whatever. Okay, awareness. I'll bring up my awareness. I start to take some action steps. And then you start to see that kind of the world turns to you and starts adjusting to your perspective, right? Starts adjusting to where you are. And then it's like you got a couple more steps, right? Okay, boom. I kind of knocked something off, feel a little bit better. Maybe I can go into this next area of my life, right? I'm feeling good about myself. That means I got more confidence to pursue my dreams, and I might not be stuck in this rat race, or I might not feel like so hopeless, or that I have to chase this goal because there's other ways, options. It's a million ways to make money. You don't have to go to somebody, an employer or an organization who you don't align with, what their goals are, what the work they're doing in the community. Right. We can align with what somebody's business goal is. You like their stuff, you like their service. But I think ultimately we looked at like what are they doing for the people, that type of stuff. So it starts at home, starts inside, and
Yeah, yo, there's two things I really like what you said. Is the first one is the fact that like a lot of people are pointing to the external, like the world has to change to make me feel better.
Mm-hmm.
But
Mm-hmm.
really, that's not gonna happen how you want it to happen. Like
Right.
the world is gonna change, but being like, this person, men have to treat women better, so I can be happy. It's like, yeah, that would be great. That would be ideal. But really, what control do you have over the world changing?
Yeah. Yeah.
Really, the control you have is of yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So, you have to work to give the best energy or to be able to make the right decisions based off how the world is. Like, I feel like a lot of people, like you said on Twitter, are living in this like imaginary kind of bubble world where like the world should be like this. It's like, I agree. I would love a utopia. It would be great. But it's really not. And the other thing you said is that like, a lot of people who've done the 9 to 5 right out of college till retirement at 65, they don't feel fulfilled. And a lot of, we were talking to Joe James, and he's our age, 30 some accountant, and he's looking at the 60-year-old accountants being like, no, like I don't, no. And so there's really a whole generation of people who don't want to work a normal job, who don't want to work a 9 to 5. And it's like, something's got to give with that. Like, it's only good, like more and more people are like, okay, how can I survive outside of this? How can I survive outside of this? So all these people are realizing, wait, like, college is a big thing. There's a lot of young 16, 17-year-olds who realize, wait, this is a setup.
Right.
This like unless I want to be, I know I want to be a doctor or a lawyer, I'm not gonna do that. I want to take a year abroad and go to Greece, or I want to friggin' learn the code, or whatever the case may be. And I think that, like, that's the individual saying, this doesn't make sense to me. But on a large enough scale, that's when you start to see shifts. And I think it's really interesting, especially with the pandemic. Like, so many people quit their jobs, and we're just like, I'm not doing this no more. Like, I'm gonna try to, and people came back being like, damn, like I actually have to do this to survive. That's still the like a kind of a trap or a setup that is in line. But I think the veil is thinning, man. It's happening, and it's wild to be here, to witness it, to talk about it. I remember, like, I woke up, quote unquote, in 2013, and that's when I was reading about Hopi prophecy and indigenous cultures and all, like, the whole conspiracy theory, blah 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 blah. And from 2013 to where we are now, to see like things kind of unfurl in the way that they said, more or less, like, there is a lot of tribulation, there is a lot of crazy shit going on, and to be able to look like, damn, they said it was going to happen. And a lot of it, I am where I am based off of this information that I gained.
Yeah.
And so it's been crazy to see this and to try to, go through the journey of, like I said, healing myself and ridding my consciousness of fear and making the ego smaller and my true self bigger, or my higher self more
Yeah.
in the forefront. And it's forever a process. Like, still, I could list off a million things I need to work on, all the mistakes that I make, all the ways I move in fear, all the ways I have trouble tapping in with myself. Like, it goes on. But I also feel a lot of, what's the word? I just feel blessed that, that I've given myself time, or the universe has given me time to try to work on myself. And you got to give yourself time for that. So I think this is a great little episode. I want to let you conclude with whatever you got for the people.
The one thing I did want to tap in, and not necessarily tap in, but like during your essay and through the conversation, we talked about like prophecies and things, and we didn't even like really get into like you said, you go back to these ancient cultures and there's ages, right? Golden age, ice age, whatever age. It's like it's coming in time, right? So we have been fortunate enough, whether it's through our studies or what we've seen in real life, is to see it progress and like, oh, like no, it's serious, and it's not just a lot of times we like feel like, the cards are dealt against us and whatnot. When we have like these prophecies and these things that are showing like, no, we they had an upper hand for a minute, but the house of cards is going to fall at some point, right? So it's like, I think that's inspiring, especially with so many people that are waking up and are looking to do the work like within themselves, within the community, and then out into the world. I think that's a real inspiring thing for us to look around and say like, no, we actually like, it's not down as bad as you think it is. If we buy into it being that way, where there's no hope, then of course we're not going to change anything because we don't want to. So I think hey, we just gotta keep pushing, right? We gotta keep finding the answers that we're looking for within ourselves, looking to our neighbors, right? And I feel like within our circles and stuff, the more, I feel like that should be our more accurate reflection of the world, right? We look at the world on the internet, on the news and whatnot, but like, let's look around this, right? We got people around us, how are they doing, right? How they doing mentally, physically, in this economy, spiritually, emotionally, right? And as we start to like get with them and work with them and have these conversations and put work, I think we'll have a different mindset about the greater world, so.
Yeah, I love that. And I'll just real quick say that, I've learned about, I'd like to learn about how cultures of antiquity, thousands and thousands and thousands of years ago, have lived. And it's all pretty similar up until maybe 130, 40 years ago, where all of a sudden there's this massive shift where it's like everything changed very rapidly. And for me, just trying to connect to, the more traditional way of living. That's like, spending time with the earth. That's
out there.
You know what I'm saying? That's trying to eat healthy. That's family. That's community. Like these these little simple basic things are actually what enriches our souls so much. It's so much, like, people get so much more joy from being in a loving family community than they'd get from being a multi-billionaire where they're worried about every move and who's gonna do that. It's just like shit is unnatural. So I've been trying to move my consciousness back in line with just natural fluid life. And yeah, bro. Thank you, dog. This is another one.
Great conversation.
Yeah, man. Oh yeah, I'm gonna say do the YouTube thing, like and subscribe. Thank you to everybody who's watching this, John. Episode 5 is in the books. Peace, y'all.